Welcome everyone, thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to the Moon Magic Tarot channel, and well, I'm going to say the Moon Magic Tarot community. You guys are just awesome. So today, gosh, there is so much to celebrate. In a moment we are just going to draw for each of the readings an angel answer card. Now this is an angel reading, it's an archangel reading because it's a new moon. We're also entering, so we have lots of celebration. We're celebrating the new moon. We are celebrating Beltane in the northern hemisphere and Samhain in the southern hemisphere. We're celebrating the first day of May. It's also the beginning of a new tribal moon phase. We move into the phase of listening woman. It's eclipse season as well. So there's just so much going on that is all connected to fertility. Okay, and we are being guided as well in our readings today by the beautiful energy of three trees that really spoke to me early this morning when I was walking literally at the crack of dawn. Just magical energy. So reading one is going to be guided by Hawthorn. I'm going to say a little bit about that as I choose the card to guide you in. We then have Sycamore, the energy of Sycamore, and the energy of Elder as well. So I will speak a little bit more about those. We'll draw these cards and a rune and a charm as well to guide you in, though I think we're going to be drawing some more runes in the actual readings, and I just have a ton of cards to use too. And of course I will also in a moment talk you through the moon forecast for the coming week, exactly how that fits with fertility and manifestation on a daily basis. And guys, because there's so much to talk about with all of these new things, and it is such a month of fertility, so very good for abundance and manifestation, I will put a video on at the very end of the readings to just talk about the tribal moon phase of listening woman. I have some book recommendations. Somebody asked in the comments if I could share some of the books that I have found to be amazing, so I'll do a little bit of that. So if that is something that interests you, the tribal moon phase, the fertility of Beltane, all of these things, eclipse season, check out that video as well. I'll put the timestamps in the information box and in the comments, along with of course the timestamps for the readings, so you can shoot through to whichever reading or readings is really speaking to you. Okay, so we have our three cards coming through here already. So reading number one, communicate clearly. So this is important for some aspect of reading number one. Now, the energy of Hawthorn. Hawthorn is a very sacred tree. It's actually a tree that is associated with the festival of Beltane. So it's really right that we have this tree. And Hawthorn is... It's a tree that actually, it speaks of fertility. It's known as a goddess tree. It also brings protection, and it also connects to the sort of the passion and the sexuality of fertility. So there's something very powerfully creative in its energy. So that is connected to reading one. Communicate clearly. We have this beautiful card and the energy of Hawthorn. Now reading number two, we have another tree of protection. Oh wow, look at this, what a different energy. This card says no. Okay, so if this card is speaking to you, reading number two is speaking to you. Now the energy of Sycamore is interesting because it is an energy, a tree of protection as well, and also of fertility and love. But very interesting, it comes with a really strong sense of strength, of kind of purpose. So it's a very different kind of energy actually to the protection of Hawthorn. You know, this is a tree of, it almost reminds me, you know, of the energy of the card of, if you were to draw in the tarot the cards of strength and justice and put them together, that's kind of Sycamore really energy here. And amazing energy as well. I don't know if you know, in Sycamore the seeds are they're like little helicopters. And when they fall from the tree, they spin round and round, and the wind can take them quite a distance. And it's like there's a helicopter vision, you know, there's an ability to move through and beyond something. There's a strong strength in this energy of reading number 2. And then reading number 3, we have romance. Okay, now this is beautiful, sitting with elder. Now elder is a fairy tree. Elder is a tree of, I mean, witches have been known to work with elder. It's also a tree of protection too. Interestingly enough, they all offer protection and they all offer fertility, but in different ways. Now elder is a very magical tree, and people used to hang elder literally on their doors in order to protect their houses from evil spirits. But it is, interestingly enough, a tree of magic, of fairies, a strong connection to spirit. You know, all the guys that I know, I say guys because actually it's women as well, but all the people I know, my friends who are into bushcrafting, you know, they go out, they live in the wild, they can light fires with whatever they have available, they can find food in the wild, in the wilderness. You know, these are people who are really into this way of living off grid, big time. And none of them will burn elder on their fire. And if somebody were to burn elder on a fire, they would get up and leave, or they would ask that person to leave. It's like it's so magical and so sacred. You never burn elder on a fire. It is a goddess tree, it is a fairy tree, it is a magic tree. And they do say that, you know, it's a tree, if you were to be out in the wild and you sleep under an elder tree, that fairies and goblins and, you know, the folk of the earth will come and show themselves to you. Now obviously for some people that would be something they wouldn't want to do. They might find that a bit scary. For me, I would be heading for an elder tree, but of course I would ask first. I would be asking if it's okay to sleep under the tree, and to ask for the, you know, if I can be supported, you know, and protected during the night. But yeah, very magical tree. So there's a lot of magic and a lot of romance in reading number 3. So this is the time to be with your intuition, you know, trust whatever you feel, whichever of these cards, and it may be more than one, is speaking to you. Hawthorn, communicate clearly. Sycamore, no. Whew, so clear. Elder, romance. Very different energy for each. And so wonderful, friends, I'm going to talk you through now the moon influences literally on a daily basis over the next week. Very powerful week of, again, we're just in such a space of fertility. So it's exciting to look at the moon, the moon influences every day from that perspective. And oh, I can't, this is crazy. I've forgotten to draw the runes and the charms. Wow, okay. Here I am rushing into the moon cycles. Okay, so my apologies, beautiful people. Oh, this is me getting carried away with the energy of these readings already. Let's draw a charm. So your charm for reading 1 is an anchor. Okay, now this is really interesting. The energy of these readings is so powerful. I was just getting so carried away. Communicate clearly. There is an anchor. There's something about grounding yourself in some way here. And your rune to guide you in. This is interesting. You have the rune of nourishment. Okay, this is ambitions satisfied. This is unexpected rewards, goals. Okay, communicate clearly. Be anchored. Okay, that's reading number 1 with Hawthorn. Wow, Tree of Life coming up. This came up in last week's readings. The Tree of Life. This is fertility, abundance. I mean, this is so relevant to Beltane. You know, this is the festival of the green man. It's the marriage of the, you know, of the earth with the sky, the masculine and the feminine, Mother Earth, Father Sky. Wow, Tree of Fertility, sitting with no. Oh, and the rune of growth, Berkana. This is a new phase of living. growth. Again, fertility, the promise of fertility. It's interesting because this is ambition satisfied, so that's also has fertility in the energy of it as well. Okay, lastly, elder and romance. Let's find your charm. Best friends. Oh, okay. This is really interesting. And your rune is the rune of partnership. This is the rune of relationship. So we know this always shows up when we're talking about some one-on-one relationship in some way. Romance, best friends and partnership, sitting in the energy of reading number 3. Again, a lot of fertility, a lot of promise. This is, Beltane was the festival of marriage. So many people. I will talk about this in the video at the end, but I will say it just because of reading 3 here. In sort of, I guess I want to say in the olden days, but people would jump the broomstick to forge their marriage. That was considered a legal marriage if people could either not afford a proper marriage ceremony in those kind of olden days, or if they didn't wish to have a formal ceremony, they would jump the broomstick together, and that would be considered a legal marriage if it took place today on the 1st of May, Beltane in this country, in the UK, in the olden days. But that's a traditional thing that has taken place, and people still, in pagan traditions and pagan weddings, they still jump the broomstick. This very powerful time, again, of commitment and fertility, and we can use these things in ceremonies for all kinds of aspects of abundance in our world, not just in partnership. So, super souls, having got carried away with the energy of these readings, I will now talk you through the lunar influences for every single day of the coming week, and then we will move straight into the readings and see what guidance Spirit is bringing to you for the coming week. This is Spirit guidance that I post every Sunday for weekly guidance, messages from Spirit for you. Tons of love, and see you in just a moment. Welcome to the lunar updates. So today the moon is in earthy Taurus, and the energy of fertility is really flowing. We are literally just moving from the new moon energy into the waxing crescent phase, where the moon gets bigger and bigger. So the energy of momentum is there for new beginnings. So sow seeds, take actions that can potentially create openings and possibilities. If you've been dreaming of it, then make a commitment to doing it, and take an action or sow a seed that will potentially create a window of opportunity that will move something forwards into being. On Monday, the moon moves from Taurus into Gemini with a very short void of course period in the morning. Now, we actually start this day with quite a strong spike of intense lunar energy, but this then opens up and it moves into a fabulous day of flow. So if you feel the tension first thing in the morning, whatever your circumstances, lean into it, because it's there to give you traction. It's a bit like jump starting a car. If it hasn't been started for a while, you need a surge of energy, and once it's powered up, it's then going to go, and it will just be fine. So it's like that final push that gets something going and it moves it forwards. So take advantage of this. On Tuesday, the moon is in Gemini, and the overall astrodynamics are actually pretty flowing and harmonious, but things do look to heat up a little bit as the day progresses, and the lunar influence kind of adds weight to this dynamic. So if any discord or unease or passion appears and surfaces in your world, take time to evaluate the situation. The Gemini energy will help you to see it from all perspectives. On Wednesday, the moon is in Gemini for the best part of the day, and she moves into Cancer at 23:05 p.m. GMT, following a short 2.5 hour void of course period. Now, the lunar energy is actually quite fiery, but it also holds loads of potential. So find something you feel passionate about and invest, channel this energy constructively. If you need to be assertive, if you need to find momentum, if you need to get going, it's a great day to do so. On Thursday, the moon is in emotional Cancer, and passions are actually running high. but with purpose. So if you find that there's any kind of imbalance in your world, if you come across unfairness, inequality or injustice, recognize that you're being shown this because there is a call to change something. And also be aware that even if there isn't anything going on in the immediacy of your own world, you might find yourself being particularly emotionally sensitive to things that are going on in the bigger world, in the bigger picture. So just be thoughtful about that. Very, very emotional day, and a real sense of things needing to be put right, potentially being shown to us. On Friday, we see a magnificent shift in the energy, actually. We've had a few intense days. On Friday, the moon is in Cancer, and it is so, so different. It's a day of flow, of harmony, of nurture. So, whatever you're doing, don't hold back. Just invest fully, enjoy, go with the flow. I mean, this is just a magical day, whether you're investing in the creation of something or whether you are just allowing the universe to move and align with you. Just enjoy. On Saturday, the gorgeous energy of Friday continues. The moon moves from Cancer into Leo with a void of course period in the morning between 10:25 and 11:50 a.m. The energy is actually just gorgeous, the lunar energy. It really is a day of flow. So enjoy. As we move into the energy of Leo, celebrate, maybe evaluate. We're very nearly at the first quarter moon. The moon will be on the Sunday, the day after. So it's a good time to be evaluating, celebrating where you are, celebrating what you've achieved in the week, celebrating who you are, what you are, all the things you love, and all the things you wish to dream and manifest and create. Do whatever feels good, celebrate, invest, meditate, or simply just be. Thank you so much for joining me for the lunar updates for the coming week. I hope you've enjoyed them. I do post daily on Facebook and Instagram. If you want to tune in with them there, I post the images. And guys, for anyone that's genuinely interested in learning to manifest with the moon, you might want to tune into the Art of Manifestation Astro-Moon Journal and Diary. They just have a ton of information in them to help you navigate the overall astrodynamics, literally on a daily basis and on a monthly basis. And I will talk about these and read from them for the coming month of May in the video at the end of the readings. Timestamps and links are in the information box below as always. Guys, have a wonderful, wonderful week. Tons and tons of love to you. Welcome to reading number 1, Super Souls. So you have been drawn to the card Communicate Clearly, the Anchor, and the Rune of Nourishment, Possessions, Unexpected Rewards and Gains, and of course the beautiful energy and fertility of Hawthorn. So we're going to draw from an Archangel pack first. We're just going to draw a shed load of cards, I think, actually. Okay. The Empress is your first. Solutions, Strength. Wow. Okay, let's put those down first and just have a look at these 3 cards. So the Empress, Archangel Gabriel, time to act upon your plans. Creativity is rewarded, luxurious or abundant resources. So this feels like, with Solutions to Archangel Zadkiel, success that comes from objective compromise, self-control and patience, forgiving and healing energy. And then we have the card of Strength, and the card of Strength is strength and grace through kindness, self-confidence and forgiveness. I feel like you are... For this week, the message coming through from Spirit is that you will need to take action in some way. You need to invest. And actually the energy this week, for those of you that just watched the moon influences for the week, there are some very significant days where investment is, the energy, the lunar energy is primed for investment and for moving things forwards. And of course the moon is... just beginning to sort of, we're moving from a new moon phase, so we're moving now into the crescent, the waxing crescent. So she's gradually getting bigger and bigger. So when we're working with that energy, it means that the things that we invest in on the days when the energy is primed for kind of nurture and investment, it means the energy of the lunar energy is really supporting us in, you know, building things and making them bigger and bigger, helping them to grow, bringing them up. It's like raising the seeds out of the ground. So that's kind of where the energy is coming in this coming week. So I think you're going to be, I feel like you're going to start to see results quite quickly, and that fits with eclipse season as well, because in eclipse season we can see things shift and move very, very fast. We can sow seeds and it's like they pop up out of, you know, like magic. And so yeah, there's something about you investing and maintaining something. I do feel you have to nurture something into being. So let's just draw. I'm going to draw a lot more cards here. Archangel Haniel. So it's interesting, both these cards are wanting to come out, so we'll draw from them. Let's move these up. I love doing archangel readings. We may well draw from some tarot cards as well, but yeah, let's just see where we are. Archangel Haniel, Archangel Michael, stand in your power, and Archangel Zariel. This is really interesting. Look at the way these cards are sitting. We have the Empress, time to act upon your plans. Archangel Haniel, seek soul satisfaction, fan a flame of inner happiness. You're kind of being asked here for this week of investment in yourself, an investment in a creative project, or whatever it is that you're manifesting. You're being asked to make sure that you enjoy the doing of it. Okay? Do it because you want to do it. Do it because you feel passionate about it. You know, success that comes from objective compromise, self-control and patience. Stand in your power. Be true to yourself. So again, it's objective compromise. It means you're not being moved and maneuvered by anybody else. You're anchored, you're grounded in your own direction, but at the same time, you're kind of aware that, you know, not everybody will see your way of doing things as, I want to say, the right way. This is tuning in with the energy of listening woman. We are now in the phase of listening, the moon phase, the fifth moon phase of 2022. What tends to happen with the tribal moon phases, and I will put this in the extra video at the end, but is that we tend to find experiences show up that mirror the learning of the tribal moon phase. And listening woman teaches us to be able to hold our own course. She is the keeper of discernment, and yet we can also understand that other people may hold a different perspective. It's like we can see the world through the lens of someone else. It's like standing in somebody else's shoes. Again, strength and grace through kindness, forgiveness, but at the same time we hold our own, and we're discerning as well, which means we learn to not be too emotionally tangled in the energy of other people's perspectives. We can hold our course, anchor where we need to, remain anchored in our own position, hold our own course, and we're not emotionally almost like hooked by the stuff of other people, but we can also acknowledge and validate their position, but we don't get swayed by it or pulled into it. And again here, strength and grace through kindness with Archangel Ariel, and then Archangel Zariel, give and receive love, obey the spiritual laws. It's very interesting, we have these wolves in the imagery here, and you know, wolves are, you know, sometimes as a totem spirit animal, they often bring in protection, which of course Hawthorn does. Hawthorn is an energy of protection, but also of love and fertility. So there's something here about following your own course this week. Investing, I want to say, in yourself rather than in the directives of others, but be aware of their perspectives simultaneously. Now I'm now going to draw from another pack. Let's see, what have I got to hand? Ah, lovely. This is what I was looking for. Totem animal guides, spirit animal guides. These are Archangel animal cards. Do you have the camel? Archangel Jophiel, be forbearing and patient. You see, I feel this communicate clearly. I feel like you know what you want to do, and you know what the course is that you wish to take. And I do think you are nurturing something, the Empress. You're nurturing something into action, into being. It is a time, I mean, fertility is zinging in the air. It's just that, do you know, I almost want to say as well, for some of you, and this is a message that will be relevant for some but not all, I feel like you may have to guard, I want to say guard your secrets. It's not that what you're doing is really secretive, but you know, if you get like an amazing idea, there are two reasons why it's not good to rush out into the world and tell everybody. In the first instance, because some people will think, gosh, that is an amazing idea, and they'll go and act on it. But it's actually your original thought, your original idea. So sometimes that can happen. But also it diminishes its energy. There's something about keeping on with something, but there's something about you maintaining it sort of quietly in the space of your own harbour. So I'm going to throw the astrology dice. Yes, you have Mars in Scorpio. Now this feels for me, this is quite powerful and quite zingy, and it's passionate. You know, Mars is all about fire. You know, Scorpio actually is quite deep and, well, very deep, ruled by Pluto, so very deep, lots of shadowy emotions. So again, I'm not suggesting there's a conflict particularly this week around you, only that you need to channel your energy into the directives that are right for you. You don't need to get into conflict if somebody else wants you to do something different. Just tactfully work your way around it, okay? Even if you feel those strong emotions, and there are some days in the coming week when the energy is quite intense. It's not a lot, but there are some moments, some kind of like peaks of intense energy. So when that energy is around, channel the energy into something that you feel passionate about, and just be forbearing and patient around people who have a totally different perspective or would like you to invest their energy in something else. Follow your own pathway. So I am now going to draw from another little, these are Angels of Abundance cards. They're absolutely gorgeous. Ask for your needs to be met. Lovely. Power of prayer. Ooh, let go of guilt. This is very, very relevant to everything we have just been saying that's coming through about doing what's right for you. Okay, because, you know, and this is where that intensity could come in, where you're almost like feeling guilty for doing what is right for you. You know, when you just, I won't say no to someone. It's interesting, isn't it? Reading number 2 drew a card, an angel answer of no, so that may be relevant to you as well. But basically, this card says, when you allow your light to shine brightly, you inspire others. Forgive yourself for what you think you've done or what you've not done, and trust that God loves you unconditionally for who you are. Learn and grow from past mistakes instead of berating yourself for them. So it's almost as though there's something in your world historically that makes it quite difficult for you to really, really step into your own power, actually. But step into your own power and be true to yourself. It's like it's not familiar for you guys to do what feels right for you. it's almost like you instinctively, I think, will look after others. And that's lovely, but sometimes that means that others take more than you have to give, and it depletes your own resources. This is a week. Spirit is clearly communicating that this is a week when your needs need to be met. And the power of prayer, you know, ask for help. You know, God and the angels can come to your aid only if you make a free will choice to be helped, and it begins with asking. And again, give this situation to God for uplifting and healing, and be open to miracles. Heaven's unlimited resources, love and answers are awaiting your prayers. And be sure to act upon the divine guidance God gives you in response to your prayers. So this is a week of investing. Spirit is really suggesting, asking, inviting you to ask for help, to invest in yourself, communicate clearly, say, I'm so sorry I can't do that today, or or just communicate clearly with you and just make decisions, because we have unexpected surprises, rewards and gains. So there's something coming into you. I think, again, the eclipse season energy, you're going to see results quickly. So if you invest in yourself, it will literally be making a decision. There will be a very positive outcome. Very important not to then sort of create the space that you needed to do what you wanted, but then spend your whole time feeling really guilty while you take that time for yourself. Because if you're feeling guilty, that tinges the energy and it makes it harder for the rewards to come into you. And remember, when you step up and really involve yourself in self-care, when you do that, you do become a beacon for others. You're giving people a gift because you're showing them how important this is and how possible it is. And when your world then succeeds, you become that guiding light for others. They can follow suit. They can see the same. I'm actually going to draw from some additional runes, or at least one anyway. Two, in fact, have come out. So we have ice and we have partnership. Now this is really interesting because sometimes the rune of ice just says it feels like something is stuck. You know, it's not moving forwards, and this is suggesting some connection to some aspect of relationship. It could be a business partnership, it could be an intimate partnership, but something isn't moving forwards. And again, it may be that this is feeling blocked because you're not, it's either your relationship with yourself, you're not giving yourself what you need, or it then feels like something is stuck because somebody else's stuff is in the way of you moving forwards. Or if you make a decision to look after you, there's like a, I don't know, I almost am feeling like somebody being a bit sulky for some of you. It's like you're not responding to them. But this is definitely, Spirit is really honouring how important it is, give and receive love. And sometimes that needs to be becoming the beacon of light for others to follow. You demonstrate self-care, others can then actually see that that works. So I'm going to draw, I'm actually going to draw from a standard tarot pack here. I say a standard, and this is actually, it's an interesting pack because this is the tarot of the soul, I think, but it's sometimes known as the Thoth pack. Just feel like I want to see a couple of cards from here. Yes, your first one, Dominion. Yeah, this is control over yourself, and your second is the Defeat card. Okay, I can see exactly what this is saying. This, by the way, does not mean you're about to be defeated. Actually, quite the opposite. Dominion means, again, isn't this interesting? You have the planet Mars, you have Mars here. Now, the Dominion card is about having control over yourself, taking charge of your own choices. And the card of defeat, the Five of Swords, it's actually, again, having control over any kind of aspect of what I would call defeatist attitude within you, defeatist thoughts of self-doubt, where you feel that somehow you're not worthy. Or in this instance, I think somebody else leaves you feeling like you're not worthy, or it's not okay for you to prioritize yourself or take what you need to kind of top up your own, yeah, literally top up your own cup. It's like if you were a jug of water and you're so constantly busy filling everybody else's cups up with water, you're going to run dry. You need to replenish. And this is a week where you are, it's not even just replenish, it's literally feed and fuel you. Be forbearing and patient of anybody around you who, if there's any kind of sulkiness or a little bit of a backlash, but dominion over yourself. Overcome those defeatist attitudes that are kind of directed at you. Do what feels absolutely right for you. Literally do what's right, because I think you're going to see results come quite quickly, really. It's like you're going to sow some seeds, you're going to invest that time, 2 days later they're just going to burst forth, and then it's going to be like, then other people are going to be thinking, oh wow, I could sow some seeds too. You know, if I was to invest in myself in that way, you know, rather than drawing constantly on others, they start to realize they can be much more powerful within the context of their own life. So you're helping to teach. And of course, in the moon phase of listening woman, she is the goddess of discernment, the keeper of discernment. That is a big part of the energy that's going to come through in different settings during this next moon phase. Reading 1, I feel I'm going to kind of wrap this up actually. I feel that the message from Spirit for you this week is clear, and I'm loving it. It's like, invest in yourself and you'll get the rewards back. Remain grounded. Don't be emotionally knocked off balance by other people's expectations or needs and wants. It's time to fully commit to yourself, invest in yourself, and see some very fast results, I think. So, and yeah, just be thoughtful and communicate clearly with compassion to those that would like you to kind of prioritize them over you. That's the flavor of this week. Wonderful energy of both protection, love, fertility around you from the energy of Hawthorn. Beautiful, beautiful energy for today, the 1st of May, the beginning of eclipse season, and Beltane here in the Northern Hemisphere. So wonderful friends, do check in on the video at the end if you'd like to learn more about the tribal moon cycles and eclipse season and how we use all these different aspects of energy, and the earth festivals, obviously, how we use them all in terms of manifesting. So tons of love, and yeah, I will see you either in the other readings or there, or maybe in future readings. And if you have enjoyed this, you know, do press the thumbs up. A like and a share is lovely. Thank you to those of you who do. And if you're able as well to subscribe, that really does support the channel. And I give away a free private reading every month, and also a pack of the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards, which we haven't used in today's readings, but these are those. And I give away a pack of these every month as well. So it's a subscriber offer. So if you would like to be in my prize draw, if you subscribe, press the little bell icon so you get notification of any of the readings and the webinars and all the stuff that I do. You know, they should come into your stream, and then add yourself to my subscriber email list, which is in the information box below, along with the timestamps. Tons and tons and tons of love. Welcome, reading number 2, and wow, what a strong start. Very big strength of energy in the sycamore as well. You drew the card No, the Tree of Life, and Berkana, the rune of growth. I mean, and this is significant growth. This is like substantial growth. So let's draw shed loads of other cards and see what else we are shown here. I'm going to take all 3 of those out, I think. Okay. The World. Wow. A very happy ending, coming full circle. Spiritual growth and insight. This is a new phase of life coming through for you. We have peace, and we have the 5 of Michael. This situation doesn't serve you. Okay. So there is something here that you are needing to, you know, the world is like a card of completions and new beginnings. So is the rune of Berkana, of growth. This situation doesn't serve you. Release your attachment to the outcome. Consider taking a more uplifting approach. And then we have the card of peace. Release the past. There's a more enriching future coming. Let go. And it just says let go and let God, but I assume this is in its writing, you know, let God take over the situation. Trust. There is an ending, isn't there, and a beginning around you in some way. There is something that you are being invited this week. This is guidance from Spirit right now to put something down, you know, and also possibly for some of you, it's putting something down, I think, that you have been involved in. But for others, it's also putting down, you know what, sometimes when we are in what I would call we are in a very goal-driven world, where it's kind of like we fix our sights on an outcome, and then we are so fixed on that outcome, we try to go from A to B, and we don't take any diverging, we don't maneuver in any way, shape or form, so that we might sort of almost like course correct or adjust the details of the final vision. It's like having an architect who designs the final house, and then when you get your plot of land, you find that that design doesn't fit that plot of land, so adjustments really would be needed. But it's like trying to persevere and with continuance stick to the design that you had in the first place without making any adjustments. You know, it's like if your architect designed a house to sit on a flat piece of land, and then you buy land that is on a slope, and you actually need to adjust the design. So there's something about not holding on to something in too fixed a manner here. And no, you know, there's a clear no to something here. But the outcome is great. A very happy ending. You know, there is definitely, the outcome here is really fabulous because it's a shift and a turning over. And again, the energy of fertility, strength, protection, love, fertility. Sometimes actually sycamore is also a tree of divinity, and it speaks of eternity. Sometimes they talk about it as being an eternity tree. So I feel like with the rune of growth and the tree of life, we are talking about changing something so that you are properly connected to the pathway of a genuinely strong, solid, long-term future, as opposed to the idea of something that is perhaps would have been, it might even have been quite nice in the here and now, but it would never have given you the long-term future that you wanted. Let's draw some more cards. I think we'll draw from another Archangel pack. One, two, three. Look at this. Archangel Aurora, welcome new beginnings. Let the sun shine in your life. Sitting under the world, Archangel Michael, a very happy ending, coming full circle, spiritual growth and insight. It's very interesting if we think of the eclipse energy. You know, eclipse season is sometimes, it's considered to be like a portal, you know, where things can happen very quickly. It's almost like we can access that. You know, in kind of spirituality, we know, and in quantum physics, there's no time-space continuum. You know, time-space is on the other side. There isn't the same relationship to time that we have. We mark time, and in a different kind of way. We mark time in a very linear way, whereas naturally the world works, actually, the natural world works much more in a cyclical way. And the same with the Earth festivals. Here we are in Beltane, or Samhain if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. These are pivotal turning points when we shift from one phase of growth into the next. And in our manifestations and in our living and our life and our souls evolution, we can use the energy of these turning points to aid and assist us in stepping through the gateway to the next phase of our life. This is a time of new beginnings for you. Under the 5 of Michael, this situation doesn't serve you. We have Archangel Metatron. Increase your light levels, open your stellar gateway chakra. This is just what I was talking about. Exactly that. Absolutely that. Open yourself to this time-space continuum where you can create a resolution in the past. You can anchor yourself in the power of the now in order to then actually create the future that you wish. The point of power is always in the now. And I think there is something you have to say no to here. It's really clear. Release the past. There's a more enriching future coming. This is interesting because the card underneath peace, Archangel Azrael, is Seraphim Seraphina. Be an ambassador for Earth and build your bridge to Source. I feel like what you're saying no to has been clinging energetically. So whether this is an actual past circumstance or something that's lingering, or whether it's the residue of something that has been left with you, you know, emotionally sort of left almost in the body, a block from something, or whether even a past life situation that you've come into this world, it's time to say no and move beyond it. It's like you've done that bit. You don't have to do that anymore. Be an ambassador for Earth as well. Let's draw some. I'm going to throw the astrology dice actually first and then draw some more cards for you. Okay, so we have Venus in Aquarius. Now, the Venus in Aquarius is lovely because Aquarius is that, you know, being able to find higher-minded solutions. I think as well, you know, we are moving into the age of Aquarius. We are in the dawning of a new age, which I think is partly, you know, spiritually, it's why everything is rather chaotic actually, and a bit, you know, it feels like the world is a bit crazy. And I think sometimes part of that craziness is there because the world, mankind, not necessarily the whole world, but mankind, our species, has operated for so long within structures of power. And that's often like dominance, almost I would say misuse of power, situations of dominance, inequality, and that includes our reference to the earth, looking after the earth, the equality of the earth and the equality of all of life around us. And in a way, there's a bit of a backlash, what we're, I think, seeing in the world. And I know I'm in my conversations with people in my own world, I'm seeing it show up in things that are going on around me, in the immediacy of my world. And of course it's happening globally. We're seeing a lot of systems of power being challenged, and the backlash where people are holding on to the old ways of dominance. And of course the age of Aquarius is about learning to live through love, respect, equality, and that is equality of all of life, including the earth, who provides everything for us. So there's something about your shift energetically here. Living through love, we have Venus here. Living in balance, living in harmony. Something has taken place historically for you that knocked you off balance, and it's time for it to come to an end, and you must just say no to it. This is the message from Spirit is actually ever so clear. This situation doesn't serve you. Release your attachment. And again, you know, sometimes we go back. This message is for some of you, and I dare say not all, but it's like sometimes we go back time and again to try and talk to someone and reason with them, to get them to see it from a different perspective. And actually we can't necessarily change their perspective. If they have always operated through dominance and perhaps a misuse of power, then they're not open to hearing what you have to say. And sometimes we go back time and time again, and it's falling on deaf ears. And this is sort of saying, you know, sometimes, and this is a message for some but not all, sometimes you just have to accept that and walk away, because you're the one that is then suffering. because you're going over and over trying to work out, you're going back into the lion's den, you're going back over something, trying to find a way to communicate something to people who aren't listening. And it's a huge expense of energy, and it's not right. That energy needs to be invested in your own future, and in a future that aligns you with the resonance actually of a new age and a new way of being. And sometimes that means we have to say goodbye to certain circumstances, certain people, certain situations. I'm going to draw from these little Angels of Abundance cards. They're a lovely little pack of cards. Gratitude list. Counting your blessings and feeling gratitude for what you already have helps you to be centered in your heart instead of fixated on worries in your mind. What and who are you grateful for right now? Keep focusing on gratitude and you'll discover the amazing generosity of this universe. Again, you know, gratitude is one of the most amazing ways of shifting our own energy. You know, especially if we've been affected by the energy or the residue of somebody else's energy. I'm going to be sharing some books actually in the video at the end of the readings about, you know, the moon cycles, the earth festivals, all the stuff that's going on, eclipse season. You know, one of the books I'm going to be sharing is called The Body Keeps the Score. It's an amazing book because it talks about actually recovery from trauma and how our body carries a memory. When you sit with gratitude, you're literally at a cellular level beginning to shift the energy within you, and it helps you move away from stuff that is possibly lingering. Raise or promotion, great. Congratulations, Berkana, Tree of Life. An increase in your abundance flow awaits you. This is a result of your positive focus and willingness to take action based on your divine guidance. Keep up the good work. So Spirit is communicating really clearly. Sycamore, a tree of strength, a tree of protection, love, fertility, eternity, divinity. The rune of growth, Berkana, the tree of life, the strength to say no and to move beyond a situation. Even sometimes for some of you, just the thinking patterns that go on and on in your head because you felt as though something didn't get fixed. But the moment you shift your energy here, remember eclipse season, we have an opportunity, and I'll talk about this more in that video at the end of the readings. When we shift our own energy, then the universe shifts accordingly. So gratitude is an amazing way of, it's like a tool to move beyond and into a different space. And during eclipse season, things can happen very quickly. We can sow seeds and they literally just sprout overnight. So I think, you know, there is something literally waiting for you. Just let go of something and up it pops. I feel like that's going to happen for you. And the key is about navigating your own energy in this situation. You know, reading number 2, wonderful, beautiful reading number 2, people. I actually feel I'm going to leave this. I really do. I'm just going to leave this exactly as it is. It feels really right to just be as it is. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have enjoyed the reading, if it's resonated with you, do press like and do share if you wish to with friends and family and loved ones. And if you would like to get notification of any of my readings, I post for weekly guidance from Spirit every single Sunday. If you subscribe and press the little bell icon, they should come into your stream. I do post extra spontaneous readings and all sorts of other stuff as well. So if you would, you know, if you've pressed the little bell icon, they should come to you. And I also do, I give away a free private reading every month. I have like a prize draw. It's a subscriber offer. And I have a subscriber email list. I give away a free private reading and also a pack of these cards. We haven't used them in today's readings, but the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards. So if you want to be in that subscriber offer, if you subscribe and then add yourself to my subscriber email list, and the link is in the information box below, along with the timestamps and, you know, all sorts of other connections to social media and things. Wonderful reading number 2. This is, it feels like a miracle turning point, and I am very confident that Spirit's message is really saying, look, shift your energy, and this is just going to happen. Let go of this, release the past, and it opens a doorway so the universe can be responsive to you very, very, very quickly. So it's a beautiful, beautiful reading. Reading number 2, people, tons and tons and tons of love. Thank you so, so much for joining me today. Reading number 3, welcome. You have the beautiful energy of the fairy tree, the witch's tree, the magic of elder. You know, she's a goddess tree. You also have the charm of best friends, the rune of partnership, relationship, and the card of romance. So let's see what some of the Archangel cards. This one's already coming through. 5 of Raphael. Everything happens for a reason. Okay. Release regret and embrace the opportunities for happiness. Search for the silver lining. Okay, I'm wondering if there is a making up for some of you taking place here, or an addressing something. New beginnings, starting a new life, finding your purpose, a forgiving and compassionate review of the past. 10 of Raphael. Oh, this is lovely. This is just gorgeous. Love and blessings fill your life. Harmonious relationships with family members. This is a happy ever after card. Now, there is either a making up for some of you. It's like if there was an argument or a discord in a relationship, there's either a making up coming, and it's like you become friends again. Literally, you become friends again. Or for some of you, if you have had a challenging relationship that ended, it's now time to start afresh. Either way, we're in a space of new beginnings. It's time to begin, to start afresh, to be able to look and allow yourself to have romance. Know that you can find that soulmate, that best friend, that lover, that person who walks a pathway with you, happily ever after. Love and blessings fill your life. This is absolutely beautiful, reading number 3. Absolutely beautiful. It feels like the magic of elder is kicking in. It's like someone has just said, you know what, you've had a really tough time recently. I'll just wave a magic wand and, you know, this will be fine. You can start a new life. Everything's going to fall into place. Let's sprinkle it all with fairy dust. That's what it feels like. It's absolutely, the energy is gorgeous. It's really gorgeous. Okay, Archangel Butiel, or Beauty, I'm not sure how I pronounce this. Okay, so I hope I get this right. Archangel Butiel. I apologize, Archangel, for not being able to say that quite right. I hope I'm getting that right. Be interdependent. Expand your horizons, okay? Interdependent is really interesting here, because that's what healthy relationships are about. They're not about, you know, codependency, where people get tangled in patterns of behaving that are really, really unhealthy. Interdependent means we're looking for equality in relationships. It's your second card, Lady Gaia. Your challenges are lessons. You are loved and welcome on earth. New beginnings. I love that the way the cards sitting beneath one another here, you know. So everything happens for a reason. Be interdependent. So if you have previously been tangled in a relationship where somebody was very, very needy, or there was an aspect of codependency going on, release regret and just recognize that actually it's taught you something. It's taught you about the health of relationships. So expand your horizons and know that you can actually look for this in relationship. And your challenges, you know, are lessons. You are loved, starting a new life, finding your purpose, a forgiving, compassionate review of the past. Archangel Jules, go with the flow, align with the highest. So there's a real acknowledgement and validation here that you've actually had some real tough challenges within relationship. Okay, it's really been, I can see there has been some really tough stuff in your world. It's time though to start a new life. Do you know, part of your purpose on earth is actually to find happiness. That's what I'm really hearing. You know, sometimes it's like we forget, we're so busy working hard at relationships and everything, that we forget that actually we deserve to be happy. And it's really here. You deserve to be happy. Love and blessings fill your life. Harmonious relationships. This is gorgeous. This is like the 10 of Cups in a standard tarot pack. Align with the highest. Go with the flow. It's like the universe is just ready. It is to wave that magic wand, to sprinkle your life with fairy dust, particularly in relationships, and just to flourish and move forwards. Look, we have this beautiful little insect coming through. It's probably come off some of our plants here. I'm just looking at the way this is just crossing over here, moving from starting a new life, and it's zigzagging through the cards. Your challenges are lessons. I sort of feel like this is so full of new life. I mean, these little creatures don't have very long lives, but they live to the fullest. They instinctively know their purpose. You know, if you are an insect, you have a purpose here. You know, it will be to procreate and to, you know, simultaneously be, you know, fertilizing flowers, and you know, there's the whole perspective. We don't always have to even know consciously what our role is, but we need to just allow ourselves to follow that through. You've learned some lessons. That was part of your purpose, and now it's time and right to move beyond that. I'm going to throw the astrology dice. I'm wanting to really take care of this little creature, and bear with me. I'm just going to pick up the sycamore from reading number 2, which is, and see if I can encourage this little creature to come here. I don't know if I'm on camera still. Here we go. It's just that I don't want to suddenly find myself laying cards on it. There we go. It's now safe and I can take it out in a moment. Okay, so you have Uranus, the Great Awaker, in Cancer. Now, Uranus, the Great Awakener, it's very interesting. Very similar energy to the rune of Hagalaz, of disruption. It's like, you know, we're awoken with purpose, and sometimes the awakening can be a challenge, but nevertheless, you know, it's teaching us something. Cancer, it's a time of nurture. It's a time of gentleness, of kindness. I just feel like doorways are opening for you, and they may open quite suddenly. We're in eclipse season. These doorways may open really quite suddenly for you at this time, because this reading, the message from Spirit really for this week for you is open doorways. Oh wow, it's come back. There's persistence going on here. I feel there's a message here of persistence for you, actually. Yeah, don't give up. Keep going. Sheep. Archangels Gabriel and Hope. Act with fortitude and cooperation. It's really interesting. And Owl. Listen to the messages of the angels. Archangel Bokpi. Listen to the messages of the angels. Okay. You are really, there's something very nurturing. Look at this beautiful rose here. I'm just really noticing, you know, the imagery here in these cards. Actually, we have the earth showing up more than once here. We have the earth, the planets, we have the owl, night vision, and again the universe spiraling around. It's like and a rose here. This is like the magic of fairy dust. You know, just here the roses of course are associated with love and fertility. I feel that I literally do feel like the planets are aligning for you. That's what it feels like. The planets are aligning. It is as if your place on earth, your position on earth, your your happiness in this life, on this earth walk, is about to change and open up. It's like you've done the stuff of hard work, and now it is time to embrace love, romance, relationship, happiness. It's now time to find the happy ever after. I feel this is definitely a reading that says, look, this is coming to you. There is an awakening here, and it's time for you to receive. Cancer for me is a very lovely energy of receivership because it's so maternal and nurturing. I'm going to use another little angel, the Angels of Abundance oracle cards. These are lovely. Oh, there's your first. Organize for success. Do not let the word organize intimidate you, as it is simply a way for you to ensure clarity of purpose. Organizing your thoughts, your reports, your living and your workspace and your finances will help you know and plan your next action steps. So it's not about, as they say, being intimidated by the word organizing. It's literally almost setting your intention, your commitment and intention of sort of purpose, pathway, and deciding to do things that will open those doorways, will support the opening. You know, if something arrives through the door and it's something you've always wanted to do and you're thinking, well, shall I, shan't I? I feel like this is sort of saying, look, this is a message from the angels. Listen to this and then take action. You need to then sign up to that thing and go to it. So it's time for a new beginning. Face your financial fears. So for some of you, again, you know, maybe there is a little bit of concern that if you go out or if you start to do some things, it would feel like a risk. But it's interesting because it says when you're honest with yourself about fears of success or failure, they can no longer control you. You know, be free of hidden fears by exposing them to the light of awareness, and you'll realize you have nothing to fear. It is interesting because even though it says face your financial fears, I actually feel this is about more a card that is about fears of success and failure. It's like, I think for some of you there is a fear of success or failure around relationship because there's been some difficult situations in the past. But those are in the past. You've learned your lessons now. You don't need to. You've done the work, really. It's time to, ask for your needs to be met. It's time to receive help. God and the angels can come to your aid only if you make a free will choice to be helped, and it begins with asking. It doesn't matter how you ask God for help, but only that you do so. The same holds true with clearly asking other people to assist you. You know, the interesting thing in this card, it came up in one of the other readings actually, but I think the really interesting thing about this card as well is it's about asking. Do you know, sometimes I think that we only ask for help, we only really pray when things are really, really bad. And it's almost like when everything then settles down and even if we're not really living fully, but we're ticking over, we don't ask for help. It's like we only feel we're entitled to ask for help if something is really challenging. And actually, it's time to know you can be having the best day in the world and you can still ask for more. Okay, you can ask for help. You can say, do you know what, today is just lovely. What I want to ask for today is help with this or help with that. And interestingly enough, energetically, your vibration, because you're having a good day, will assist the help in coming to you because you're more vibrationally attractive to the higher level of frequency of the things that you want. It's quite interesting. And lastly, block out distractions. Your life purpose and other priorities need your individual attention, so it's time for you to take charge of your schedule. Now that's come up already here. Organize. Take charge of your schedule and working environment by turning off electronics and avoiding anyone, unless of course you need them for something, and avoiding anyone or anything, that's the most important thing here, that distracts you from what's important. You already know what these distractions are, and you will each know in your own world, and you have the power to responsibly block them out. Again, there's something about choosing how you spend your time so that you're not dwelling or being drawn back into the stuff that is of the past, and also that you are genuinely investing in the things that are going to help things to happen. We are in eclipse season. The magic of Elder is here. It's like, ask for help, you know, and the angels are like sitting and waiting. They want to help you, but you need to ask. You know, if you think about it, prayer is a very focused thought. And sometimes we only pray when things are going wrong. Intention is a focused thought, but so is worry, you know. And if we set our intentions in this energy of the new moon, if we set our intentions and we spend 20 minutes doing that, but we spend the rest of our day worrying about the fact that we don't think it'll ever happen, we're counterbalancing the intent and the focus of intent. And doorways are waiting to be opened for you. Okay, I am going to draw just a couple more clarifying cards from a tarot pack. I feel like there is the magic around you of new beginnings, of long-term happiness. Yeah, look at this. We have the card of art. This is a card of creativity. It's like you becoming the creator, you pouring the ingredients into the melting pot and then rising like the phoenix from the ashes. We have the card of victory. It's lovely. This is interesting. There's a card that was left here to one side. I'm just going to put that back in and draw another. I think this is our card. The Hierophant. Okay. Make sure we can see all your cards. Okay. Actually, the angel guidance for you this week is actually asking you to get really focused on what you personally want, particularly in love and relationship. And it's like, block out distractions, don't be drawn to something else, engage with things, don't be afraid, ask for your needs to be met, you know, regularly ask, take a break, you know, set an alarm or a reminder on your, you know, on your phone maybe, and, you know, so that actually several times a day you write down an affirmation about what you really want. You lean into that energy and you ask for help. We have the card of victory sitting bang in the middle here, which is gorgeous. The Hierophant, this is divine guidance. This is someone coming in to support you, someone coming in to help you. The card of art, it's like pouring the ingredients into the cauldron, mixing them, and it's like the witchy cauldron, the cauldron of magic, knowing that, you know, your creation, your manifestation will then emerge. So the card of victory is really an affirmation that this will happen. And so I'm feeling very confident. But the message from Spirit for you this week is that you do need to take action, and your action is to do with getting focused and being kind of almost organized so that you cut out the things that you don't want and focus on the things that you do, and actually allow yourself to immerse yourself in the energy of and the perspective of what you really, really want whilst asking for help. And I think that then that it's like doorways can then be opened for you. Guidance will come. Listen to the messages of the angels. Okay, so this is a beautiful, beautiful reading about long-term love and romance. It's like romance leading to that long-term permanent sense of contentment and happiness, and letting go of any history where actually things hadn't felt quite right for you. The magic is around you. The planets are aligning. Wonderful, beautiful people of reading number 3. This week's guidance is really quite clear about keeping your own energy clean, asking for help and being available to receive the signs and the synchronicities that will come your way. Very interesting, we have this little charm of best friends. I just want to focus on that for 1 second, because I do feel that with the Hierophant card here, again, listen to the messages of the angels. Do you know, sometimes And it's true, Archangel Raphael, it said that Archangel Raphael, that the spirit of Archangel Raphael sometimes arrives in the physical form of someone coming into your world. The same with the Hierophant. Sometimes a guide or a mentor comes along and helps to open a doorway for you. So I do feel, and again with the angels, the energy of the angels, you know, someone just might pop up and like be your best friend. They might give you that little piece of wisdom, inspiration, direction that tells you what the next step is. And I feel that may well be available for you. And then I think we begin to see openings happening quite quickly, because that's the nature of eclipse season. You know, I'm going to talk about all of this in the video after these readings. You know, how we actually use the energy of the earth festivals in our manifestations, how we actually tune into all of these different kind of vibrational aspects of manifestation with the natural world and with our guides, our angels. So Spirit this week is really opening that possibility for you and giving you that guidance, because it does feel like the planets are aligning for you. A very magical time of possibility. Wonderful, friends. I will wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining me. And if this reading has resonated, you know, do press like or share. And if you want to get notification of any of my readings, then do subscribe, press the little bell icon. They should come into your stream. I do post weekly guidance from Spirit every Sunday, and also other extra spontaneous readings too, and sometimes webinars and all sorts of stuff. And guys, I do each month give away a free private reading. It's a subscriber offer, and if you would like to be in that monthly prize draw, I have a subscriber email, and the link is in the information box below. I also give away a pack of these cards. We haven't used them today in the readings, but I give away a pack of these cards as well every month, along with a free private reading. So wonderful, friends. I will, for those of you who are interested in the moon cycles, the tribal moon and eclipse season and earth festivals and all the things, these wonderful things that we can align and tune in with to aid us on our soul's journey of evolution and in our manifestations, I will put that video up after this reading. Tons and tons and tons of love. I wish you a magical week. I do feel like there's just, it's like the doorway is just poised to be opened for you guys. Tons of love. Thank you so much for joining me for this extra video. I'm going to be sharing some books that I think are just amazing, books that I've read that might be helpful to you. I'm also going to talk a little bit about Beltane and the eclipse season, and I'm going to read to you from the Art of Manifestation, Astro-Moon Diary and Journal to give you the heads up around the energy for the month of May, and a little bit about eclipse season as well. So without further ado, let's move straight into the books. First book I'd like to share, The Body Keeps the Score. Now this is really relevant to the energy of Listening Woman, because Listening Woman teaches us literally to get still. She teaches us to listen, not just to the obvious, but to, it's like listening to things, not just the things that people say, but the things that people don't say as well. You know, she's the mistress. Let's say she's the goddess of discernment. So during this coming moon phase, you might expect things to show up in your life that cause you to need to become discerning, that cause you to need to exert your capacity to say both yes and no with awareness. Now that also involves not just listening to others, but primarily listening to ourselves. That is why I recommend this book. Anyone that has ever experienced any form of kind of trauma, if you've ever experienced any trauma or any difficulties in life, and you know, adversity is part of what I think helps us to grow. It's part of how our souls evolve. You know, within, you know, our human consciousness is constantly evolving. We're moving into higher and higher levels of awareness. Humanity itself globally is moving into a new dawn, a new era of consciousness. And individually, we're doing this level of soul work. This book is amazing because if there is any aspect of trauma that is still left within you, your body will hold that memory. And this book actually talks you through, I mean, it's just a ton of incredible information. It's based on people's therapeutic journeys. It's based on a lot of scientific evidence. It's an amazing book, and it's all about ultimately how the body keeps the score, how the body carries memory. I'm not going to say too much about it, but if you have experienced any form of trauma, I really, really can recommend this. Or if you are in relationship with someone who is demonstrating some difficult patterns of thinking or behavioral patterns, this book will really, really help. It may help your understanding, it might help theirs. So that's my first recommendation. Second recommendation is actually one of my own books. This is 7 Steps to Spiritual Empathy. This book will teach you to listen to yourself. It will help you to learn to recognize that empathy is not just something where we cognitively sit and listen to another person. Empathy can literally be a spiritual experience where, if we really understand the core components of empathy, we learn not only to listen to ourselves, to others, but we can listen to life as it literally flows through and around us. And that enhances our capacity always to be consciously living, consciously aware of our choices, consciously navigating life. And this book was designed to be read literally in 7 days, 20 minutes a day. There are exercises, daily exercises. So that's, my second recommendation. Even though it's one of my own books, it really, really will help you if you are on that spiritual soul journey. It will help you to literally learn to listen to yourself and understand yourself as a pivotal kind of beacon of empowerment, really. So anyway, second book. Third book, which I did show you last month, I just want to bring it up again. It's the work of Jamie Sams, the 13 original clan mothers. The work of Jamie Sams for me has been utterly life transforming. I am constantly in awe and gratitude of her level of awareness, spiritual awareness and spiritual teaching, which goes really back to the very core of her culture. And I mean, it's just extraordinary. All of my understanding of the kind of tribal moons and how I actually, because in my own diary and journal, or in the journal particularly, I talk about my own experiences. I mean, this is how I really learned that manifestation is constantly a spiral. It's not something that's linear. We don't manifest something and we go from A to B and we do all that we need to do to get there. There is this constant evolutionary level of work going on, and the tribal moons and the 13 original clan mothers really helped me to kind of understand what was taking place at every moon phase, in terms of giving me the ability, if I'm honest, to actually listen to my own real experiences, but understand them through the lens of the teachings of that particular moon phase. And it really, really opened my eyes to being able to navigate difficulties, so that I was constantly growing, probably at my best, really, I would say, at the optimum level of growth. So absolutely incredible book. I have another one here by Jamie Sams as well. This, you can tell when I read books a lot because they have endless post-its in them. I think, oh wow, that's amazing, and I'll put a post-it in. So this is another Jamie Sams book, Earth Medicine. This is almost like a daily kind of reading, where as you go through each moon phase, I mean, some of it is poetry that she's written, some of it is just daily teachings, but it gives another layer of depth to your understanding of the 13 tribal moons, the 13 original clan mothers. So absolutely amazing books. I really, really cannot recommend them enough. So I think that's probably all I'm going to recommend for now, but as things arise and show up in the readings, what I will do, if I ever make a reference to something, I'll try and tack an extra video on at the end, and give you the information, tell you, the books and any aspects of anything that I have found to be particularly useful in my own kind of growth, my own development, and in my work. I mean, I worked for 28 years in a very, very full-on, full-time psychotherapy practice. So I have literally walked alongside hundreds and hundreds of people over the years who have faced profound challenges and yet have come through those difficulties and irrespective of what had happened, have found their ability to find their own calling, to navigate difficulties to the point where they could build themselves thriving lives, which is ultimately, I consider my life in that respect to have been truly gifted. Every one of the people I've worked with has been inspirational to me, so I thank you all. What else do I need to say? I think I'm just going to move straight into let's talk about Beltane. So Beltane, the Earth Festival of Beltane, is the marriage of Father Sky and Mother Earth. It's a time when traditionally, if people couldn't afford to get married, they could jump the broomstick together, and it was considered a legal sort of passage into marriage. So if they couldn't or didn't want to, go through a formal marriage process in years gone by, it was considered, Beltane was a time you could get married of your own free will and choice, without the dictates of almost like the piece of paper, and it was considered legally binding. So I have read, and so I'm told. So really interesting that it's a time of union, it's a time of creation, it's a festival of fertility, a festival of fire, and all of the Earth festivals, whenever it's like the Earth herself is shifting from one creative season into the next, and there is something incredibly powerful about doing ceremonies and rituals around this time. Traditionally, they are times when people gave back to the Earth, a bit like saying grace before a meal. It's like, for what I am about to receive. I think intuitively, I guess in days gone by, not only was there recognition that the Earth is actually our provider, she gives us, everything. We wouldn't be here, we wouldn't exist without her. So there was an honouring of that, an honouring of all that we receive. But when we honour that, we step into that high vibrational energy of gratitude. And when we are in that high vibrational space of gratitude, actually we are far more likely, in terms of our manifestations and the law of attraction, to begin to receive the things that we actually desire. It's like the universe can align for us, that the universe can deliver, because our vibrational state is very high, and therefore we are going to attract what we are. So actually there's something really magical and wonderful about creating ceremonies and rituals that offer something back, where we ourselves are giving. We're giving thanks, and in that zone, it's like the spin-off from it, which is just magical, is that we actually are placing ourselves into a high vibrational state that will potentially open doorways of manifestation and allow the universe to deliver to us at the same time. So it's just a perfect time to tune into this energy. And because we are in the space of a new moon, so we are in a zone of new beginnings, we are also in a space and zone of eclipse season, where things can happen very, very quickly. We can ask and we can receive. So I'm not saying everything will happen very snappily, but I do think this is a month of potential, of powerful potential, and powerful potential for doorways of possibility to open, and to open quite quickly, depending on how we ourselves are navigating our own energy and our own lives. So enough of me speaking directly to you. Let's shift the camera down, and I'm going to read to you from the Art of Manifestation Astro-Moon Diary and Journal about the month of May. So firstly, from the diary. Now, the two cards that were drawn to guide us through the month and the two runes are, firstly, the card of Restore Balance with Algiz, the rune of protection, and the second card, Choices and Decisions, with Kano, the rune of openings. The energy of this month is really go with the flow, but don't be swept along. Following such a powerful month of fertility during April, we begin May by celebrating Beltane in the Northern Hemisphere and Samhain in the Southern Hemisphere, both festivals of fire and fertility. The overall dynamics of the month suggests that our manifestations may well continue to gather momentum. However, we are also advised to take time to pause, listen, reflect and evaluate along the way. The astrodynamics of this month offer the possibility of much illumination, and any areas of our lives that are on track may just flow into being, and at quite a pace. However, this level of flow can sometimes get a little bit confusing or even overwhelming, especially if not all areas of our lives are running smoothly. With Mercury moving into retrograde on the 10th of May, we may well find disruptions and diversions occurring, although always with some higher purpose. With the powerful full moon eclipse in Scorpio on the 16th, we are invited to deep dive and to listen. Much may be revealed to us at this time to assist us in finding clarity of direction, with the opportunity to make informed choices. So keep in balance and let your experiences point the way. Our card of Restore Balance, in combination with Algiz, the rune of protection, advises us to manage our emotional responses and to maintain our personal balance. In particular, we are asked to become an observer of our own experiences, to notice what is taking place around us, and to become aware of how circumstances actually affect us. And this, of course, aligns beautifully with the energy in this moon phase, this tribal moon phase of Listening Woman. But I'll read you a bit about that in a moment from the journal. This dynamic month concludes with a creative new moon in Gemini on the 30th, inviting us to weigh up the possibilities and to seek inspiration through curiosity and discovery. The ongoing astrodynamics support restructuring and progression, with opportunity to course correct where needed. Supported by our second card of choices and decisions, we are reminded of the power of personal choice, and Kano, the rune of openings, invites us to initiate decisive actions, and it does suggest that the way will become clear. So go with the flow, but don't be swept along. So now let's tune into some information from the journal about the 5th moon phase. This is Listening Woman. So the moon phase actually begins on the 30th of April and the 1st of May, where we have the new moon in Taurus. This is a partial solar eclipse. And this is the energy of right now, right here and right now, as I'm recording this. So the energy of a solar eclipse is often associated with a surge of creative possibilities, although these may not always arrive in the form that we expect. And so the dynamics of this new moon eclipse are really perfect to consciously focus on the relationship between your new moon wishes and your new moon intentions. There's a difference between wishes and intentions. When we use the energy of both in balance and harmony, the collaboration of the two strengthens the potential support that is available to us at the beginning of every new lunar cycle. The new moon in Taurus makes a very dynamic and positive connection with the fiery, go-getting masculine energy of Mars. We also see harmonious, balanced feminine Venus and expansive, optimistic Jupiter joining forces, creating a flowing dynamic with the transformational energy of Pluto. You might find that certain stages of your personal manifestations suddenly shift. Some may suddenly bloom and emerge, literally birthing into the world, creating space for a new cycle of evolution and manifestation. Others may suddenly gather momentum or just begin to move forwards, finding their shape and form. And others may reach a certain stage of development, highlighting whatever is needed for the next surge of input and action. But this new moon is definitely a time to take action. This new moon heralds the beginning of the 5th moon phase of 2022. This is the moon phase of Listening Woman. During this month, the values and learning that underpin our personal growth and influence come from Listening Woman, supported by the energy of Willow, connecting us with our deepest emotions, hence the full moon in Scorpio as well. The moon time of Listening Woman focused my attention, this is my learning, on the details of my thoughts and my words, and made me realise how big a part they play in the constant flow of our manifestations. Are our thoughts and words in alignment with what we really want to create? Her story made me step back from the drama that our ego mind can so easily create and buy into, and the lessons that came through were really teaching me to listen not only to what I was saying and what other people were saying, but in some instances what people weren't saying, the things that were not obvious. So we look below the surface, we listen below the surface. And so the learning of this moon phase revolutionised my ability to develop healthy discernment through well-informed listening, with recognition and ownership of my personal choices and my responses. And I started to manage and maintain my boundaries, to be honest, with much more confidence and much more strength. The full moon eclipse in Scorpio on the 15th and 16th of May, with Scorpio, this is going to tend to illuminate the shadows, inviting us to dive deep and to look at ourselves and our situations with real honesty. As the saying goes, when in deep water, become a diver. The Scorpio energy supports the letting go of things as well that no longer serve us, making room for transformation, renewal and rebirth. This particular full moon eclipse brings some very strong dynamics, all of which invite us to peel back the layers and dive deep into a space of profound awareness. Eclipses are associated with our karmic journey and are said to create an energetic rift or a portal that can assist in connecting us with our purpose and our calling in this present lifetime. Today, our beautiful moon sits with the North Node, which is also associated with our karmic pathway. So this is going to bring heightened awareness of the impact of our actions, past, present and future. And as always at a full moon, the moon sits opposite the sun, and both in turn on this full moon will square up with Saturn, who's also known as Father Time and the planet of karmic lessons. So this is a very, very powerful full moon of karmic potential and possibility. If you are in any way unsure of your calling, or you're seeking illumination and guidance to inform your pathway at this time, then this powerful full moon eclipse is the perfect time to dedicate structured time to meditate or engage in any kind of shamanic journeying. If you find yourself dreaming as well, keep a dream journal, because much may be shown to you. I think that's probably all I need to say. I've read a little bit from the Astro-Moon diary and the Astro-Moon journal. I hope this has given you a bit of a heads up as to the coming month. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you all of you who give me feedback, and also all of you who've actually bought the Art of Manifestation Astro-Moon diary and journal. I really, really appreciate your support, because these are tools of manifestation. I hope that they're really, really helpful. But when you buy them, it does actually help me to continue to put free stuff into the world. So tons and tons of love to you guys. Have a wonderful month of manifesting, and I will see you for next week's weekly guidance readings from Spirit.